Hi everybody. As you remember in my previous videos, I installed a new head unit and that made a world of a difference in the sound in the Sprinter van. So if you're going to do anything, make sure you change out your head unit from the stock one. Then I put in some nice component speakers in the doors, which just cleared up and made the sound so much clearer. But I still was lacking the low bass. In my head, I was going to build a box and install it underneath the passenger seat. But while searching on Amazon, I came across the speaker made by Rockville. That's the first time I had heard of them. But the reviews were outstanding. And I could not believe the size. This unit is about 3 inches tall and about 12 by 13. So that easily fits under our Sprinter seat, or it will fit in any other small, slim spot that you have available in your Sprinter. And the good thing about it is it's a powered 10-inch subwoofer, so you don't have to buy another amplifier. It's all contained in itself. It's got 800 watts peak power. So I ended up using these two pieces to kind of hold the amplifier in place underneath the seat and kind of cushion it and absorb all the vibrations until I figured out how I was going to permanently install it. Now I'll put a link down at the bottom of the amplifier subwoofer kit that I purchased, and basically that comes with everything you need. So this 10-inch powered subwoofer has many options on how you can hook it up. You can use the RCA, or you can use this adapter here, which allows you to connect to just normal speaker wires if that's all you have available and you can't run your RCA cables. But you'll see in my video how I ran everything, and hopefully that'll give you an idea how you can run these wires into your head unit. I had to remove both seats in order to have access in here. Here's the other seat. Found these channels in here. I believe these are speaker wires, and I'm going to use this channel to run my power and my remote for the amplifier. So what I did was I fed them through, and see I have my battery exposed. You're going to have to pull up some of this vinyl flooring, and you do that by just removing the plastic trim, and this basically just folds back. And I removed these foam pieces to expose this channel that'll allow me to run that power into the battery compartment. The power and the remote, those run all the way to the battery. You want your RCA cables to run separately from the power. Tucked it in through here underneath the mat, and it runs up in here, and using a fish tape I was able to fish it back up to the radio. Now what's cool about this low profile speaker is it also comes with a remote for your subwoofer level. Here's the remote subwoofer level control. I plan to run that the same way. I pulled out this tray here, and I'll make a hole here with my step bit so I can backfeed this in here, and then we'll fish our line down through here. Okay, again, there's my remote and my power. Put the foam piece, it's going to lay right over it. This foam piece just came right out again. Let's take a quick look on how I connected the power for the powered subwoofer. If you guys remember, I fished the line that came up through this captain's chair. That line ended up coming through here, and I'll put a link to the kit that I bought, which came with everything you need to install an amplifier. So that included the fuse holder and the fuse, and I tied into this area here, which is all hot all the time. And if you notice, this blue wire was the remote wire, and that runs, just passes through here up underneath. And what I ended up doing was going up to my radio. Behind the radio there is a red wire that is only hot when the key is in the ignition, and that's what you want to tie your remote into. Normally the blue remote will go and tie into a wire that comes out of your radio, but if you saw in the previous video, I installed an aftermarket bypass so you can watch movies as you're driving. And when I removed the radio head, I realized that that is using up my blue remote wire coming out of the radio. So I needed to hook up this blue remote now to some sort of hot wire that's only on when the ignition is turned on. So here I'll show you how I connected the amp. If you see, here's that positive line, 4-gauge line that I mentioned runs through here. And the ground, I found this bolt that attaches the seat that made a really good strong ground. But these connections here are these screw ends. If you find what size nut that is, you can use these as grounds also. Now your RCAs that are coming from the radio will go right here. So I had to use some thick rubber, and I laid a thick rubber mat underneath it, so it's basically sitting on here. This way the speaker is kind of floating on this rubber mat, and I was able to still capture one of the feet onto this metal lip, but it's a rubber foot, and then this foot here on this side I was able to use a self-tapping screw right here. So it's kind of held on by one side and kind of free floating on the other on the rubber mat. And I was able to minimize the rattling. Again, I'm really impressed with this powered subwoofer that's underneath the seat. For the size and the sound that I'm getting out of that powered subwoofer, I think it's a great deal. You don't even know it's there. The bass really travels and you don't really realize where it's coming from. And overall, I'm pretty happy with the way this system sounds. It's not going to rattle the car next to you. It's definitely going to fill the van with good sound for being such a small speaker. Best features that I like is having that remote bass control. A lot of songs are different, and nothing's worse than having to try to get into your radio menu to try to figure out how to turn the subwoofer down. Well guys, if you like this video, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, like the video, and just keep an eye out for more videos.